All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to our webinar today. The subject of today's presentation will be AMX QuickPass for JD Edwards EnterpriseOne. My name is Spencer Horner, and I work in the marketing department here at AMX, and I'll be your webinar host for today. We're pleased to have with us today Tim Thronson, who's the Senior Solution Consultant here at AMX, and he'll be guiding us through today's presentation. Before we continue, I'd just like to go over a couple of quick housekeeping items for those who aren't quite as familiar with WebEx. First of all the phone lines will be muted throughout today's presentation. Questions can be submitted, however, in the Q&A section. If you look in the lower right corner of your screen, you'll see a floating panel. Please click on the icon with the question mark and submit your questions here. We'll be answering these questions following the presentation, and of course, any sincere and necessary questions that you need to ask, please, we welcome them, and feel free to submit those questions anytime throughout this presentation. We will be answering, again, these questions after the presentation, and the presentation will be recorded and made available on our website at amxinc.com within the next couple of days, and you'll receive an email with the link to that recording. We'd just like to note you're not the only person on the webinar today. However, you will only see yourself and the panelists. If you're having trouble viewing the entire PowerPoint, in the floating panel is a view option where you can select the best view fit for your screen. So if you'd like to go to the next slide, the following is an outline of today's presentation. The first thing we'll do is just give you a spotlight on AMX as a company. Then Tim, our presenter, will introduce you to the product along with the live demo of AMX QuickPass. And then, of course, afterwards, we'll wrap up with Q&A. So before I hand it over to Tim, I'd just like to briefly introduce AMX International as a company. As you can see on the slide, AMX has over 20 years of experience with JD Edwards. As an Oracle Platinum partner, we're part of an elite group of the Oracle Business Partner Network, in which only about 5% of Oracle's partners achieve this status. AMX provides all the services you see here, from upgrades to integration. With these services, AMX has received numerous Oracle awards over the years, including JD Edwards Partner of the Year. So that brief introduction, Tim, I'll pass it over to you, and you can take it away.
Thanks, Spencer. So as Spencer had said, I want to go through an overview of the QuickPass product. And first couple of questions, some statements. How much time per month/year does your security officer help desk spend resetting JDE passwords? The AMX QuickPass EnterpriseOne add-in allows end users to reset their own passwords when they want and as often as they want, without having to have their company security officer involved. Only the user knows what the password is, eliminating the administration time that a security officer administrator has to spend on password resets. A user simply selects from a predetermined list of security questions and provides a private answer to the selected question. When the question is answered correctly, a new temporary password is emailed to the user's email account. All other EnterpriseOne security criteria is maintained, such as password naming conventions and forced reset intervals. So simply stated, AMX QuickPass is that EnterpriseOne add-in that allows users to do the following. And down at the bottom, a little Dilbert cartoon as far as passwords are concerned. Why are password resets such a big and costly problem? 25 to 40% of help desk incidents are people forgetting their passwords. There's the average cost to go ahead and do that reset, and the cost savings if you have a product like AMX QuickPass. What does QuickPass eliminate? Once again, it eliminates the need to contact IT, the exposure of temporary password to anyone other than the requesting user, and any of the weak type passwords. And then user downtime. They're not waiting to hear a call back from the support desk or anything like that. Some of the key features. So you define what your list of security questions are. You could still lock out the user after a predetermined number of wrong answers to the security question. All of that data is encrypted, and that user can assign the new password after the temporary password has been emailed to the end user. So you'll see in the demo, I'll forget my password, and I'll enable this process, and we'll see what goes on. And this allows you to do this without having Active Directory or single sign-on or identity management applications. You do not need to purchase those. So let's take a look at this from a demo perspective. So here I am on a sign-in screen. And I'm trying to find my password. I can see it says incorrect user ID or password. So what we've added is a link down here called Forgot Password. So I go ahead, put in my user ID, and then I go ahead, reset the password. It will go ahead and bring up a screen with my security question, and I need to answer that security question correctly. So you can choose from multiple security questions. And then I click email password. And we're going to see it sent me a new password. So here's my new password. The temporary password is right here. I'll go ahead, grab that. And then what it's going to make me do is change that temporary one as soon as I come in. So we go ahead and change that to a new password. And we're back in business. So now I'm within EnterpriseOne. See how quick that was? There was no phone call involved. I was able to go ahead and recover my sign-in credentials. And then I can go ahead and just move around within EnterpriseOne and no restrictions based on my security. So let's take a look at a couple of the menus that were used to set this up. These are things that AMX has created to allow this capability. Let me back out of this screen and we'll travel over to so here's my user ID. This is what the security administrator would have access to, and we can make it so only the security administrator has access to this, specifically as far as putting in what email the password should be sent out to. You can create your own questions. So this is just some of them that are out there. You could create additional ones. And then where that user actually goes ahead and selects what their question is and the answer is over here on this P55 Pass menu. So here I see my user ID. There's my email, high school mascot, and now everyone knows my answer. Anyways, that's where I would go ahead and put the answer into my question, and then you saw the process that's involved is if I forget that, all I'm doing is on this main area, going ahead and clicking that reset password. Some other things that we've seen customers get benefits out of this is also from a security standpoint. So one of our customers, they use this to eliminate the communication of sensitive information. QuickPass precludes the need for an employee to share sensitive password information with support staff. Out there, IT auditing firms routinely test the process for communicating passwords within an organization. This is done by calling IT support staff or a help desk and simulating a user requiring a password reset. Proving the identity of the requester over the phone is nearly impossible. AMX QuickPass is a self-service application which eliminates the IT support staff or help desk from the process, thus making the process more secure and passing the audit an easy process. So as we said before, what this eliminates, of course, is that need to request a password reset from the help desk or the CNC administrator. There is no exposure of that temporary password to anyone other than the requesting user. And the wait time while a password is being reset by help desk or CNC administrator is eliminated. And with that, I'd like to open it up for some questions.
All right. Thanks, Tim. We appreciate your ability to demonstrate the value that this product can have for the different companies that are on this presentation today, and how it can show, how it can save everybody time and money. And for a lot of the people on the webinar today, especially as far as IT staff is concerned, time is money. So as you said, we'll go into some questions and answers. The first question that came in today was, is QuickPass limited to JDE, or can it be used for the enterprise network level?
I'm sorry, I had you on mute. I thought I was waiting for a next question. Anyways, the answer is it is just for JD Edwards. And I had another question came across in the past is, can you restrict IT from viewing the security question and answer for other users? And the answer to that is yes. The great thing about this product is that it is built inside JDE. So we can use the normal JDE security to lock down about anything we like without changing code. So that sort of relates to this question, that it is specifically for JD Edwards.
Mm-hmm. And maybe a follow-up question to that, Tim, is what release levels, and I believe it's restricted to EnterpriseOne, but what release levels is this product available for?
Yes, you're correct. It is at the EnterpriseOne level, and it's anything from 8.11 forward. So 8.11, 8.12, and 9.0.
Perfect. Let's see. Here's another question that came in. Can the email address be picked up from the electronic address file in JDE?
Yes, it could. To update that table where we put in the email, so I could have it go ahead and link to that to pull in that email address.
All right, and then maybe one final question. What does one do to install this software?
So half of the install is a set of custom JDE objects, and the other half is a web application.
All right. Well, it appears like there's no further questions, Tim. So if you want to move on to the next slide, for those of you who are on the presentation who maybe have future questions or questions that you perhaps didn't bring up today, here's my contact information. You can reach me either through email or through the phone line as well. And then for those of you who did submit questions, we'll be following up to make sure that your question was addressed properly, and as well to see if you have any additional questions. So again, here's my info. If you want, and then especially if you want to learn more about QuickPass as a product, including details about possible implementation projects and things like that, feel free to, of course, contact us at any time. So with that being said, Tim, do you have any last words before we close the meeting?
Just with this tool, you can save that time and money and also enhance security. And thanks for your time today.
All right, everybody. Have a great day.